Oakland County Coliseum Public Relations Report by vkeller. So the incident report for this, I'm going to be a little bit more to the actual slides, just as I want to make sure that you understand clearly what's taking place here. While making repairs to the railings on the third level of the Oakland County Coliseum, a worker fell and was severely injured this afternoon. The accident occurred in the same location where an Oakland Raiders fan injury occurred back in 2012. The worker, who was an AEG employee, had been making repairs to increase the height of the railing that had been installed back in 2012. The Alameda County Sheriff's Department informed that the employee, whose identity had yet to be released, was taken to a local area hospital and is listed in serious condition. The incident comes only 4 years after a fan was seriously injured when he jumped from the third level at Oakland County Coliseum during an Oakland Raiders vs. Denver Broncos game. Even after having railings installed, fans complained about the dangers and the lack of height on the installed railings at Oakland County Coliseum. The timing of the accident only makes matters worse as the Raiders are contemplating a relocation to Las Vegas since they cannot get a stadium deal done in Oakland. The added spotlight will only bring more attention to the Raiders' attempts to get additional public funding for a new stadium in Oakland or either to relocate. Looking at implications. So this is what could go wrong. Are we, the Oakland Raiders, at risk to any civil lawsuit, criminal or negligence suit from the employee? Is there any negative impact our standing with our fans could actually have, knowing that these repairs had been requested from fans in the past, and even though we did actually take some action, the action wasn't good enough. In this instance, we were actually even trying to be proactive and fix the height of the actual rails when this worker was injured. So could there actually be even some positive that we could actually derive out of this unfortunate accident, and the fact that we were taking fans' considerations into or issues and complaints into consideration and trying to actually make changes when this accident took place? Will AEG take action on the needed repairs? AEG is the actual facility manager for the Oakland County Coliseum. The Oakland County Coliseum is owned by a combination of the City of Oakland and the County of Alameda. We have an actual lease with the stadium and with the county, and that facility is managed by AEG. So technically, the employee who was injured is an AEG employee, and despite any efforts that we may make and requests that we make to have updates done, AEG is really, again, the facility manager and the one that's going to need to take action on any repairs or anything that may need to be done. And then along with that, then can we, the Oakland Raiders, be held accountable? It would just be good to know for us to be able to understand that. Looking forward, the response team for this, from our opinion, is going to consist of the group of individuals who will handle all of the actual communications, whether that be through statements or whether that be through actual releases or direct communications, even potentially press conferences, on this subject matter moving forward. And the response team is going to consist of Oakland Raiders owner Mark Davis, Alameda County Sheriff's Department spokesperson, just because they were involved because there was an injury. The AEG spokesperson, most likely their public relations and or media manager. Our Oakland Raiders public affairs manager. Our Oakland Raiders digital and social media manager. And our Oakland Raiders stadium and operations manager. Now, the roles that these individuals have, Mark Davis will basically just be providing statements as the face of the Oakland Raiders. However, all pertinent content that we want to actually communicate in that dialogue to the publics will be coming from our Oakland Raiders public affairs manager. AEG spokesperson needs to be involved. As we mentioned, they are the facilities manager, so they will need to be involved, and we'll need to coordinate with them and our Oakland Raiders public affairs manager to make certain that our statements are in alignment and that we're on the same page addressing these things. As I mentioned, the Oakland County Sheriff's Department will have a spokesperson that will speak just to the injuries of the individuals. That's something they will do independently, but I still believe it's part of the overall response team to this incident. The Oakland Raiders digital and social media manager is required just due to when you start getting into things like the actual recovery and our response. We're going to, in this day and age, we're going to want to actually speak to individuals and be proactive about this in real time as quickly as possible. And the best way to do that is through social media. So our digital and social media manager is going to need to be responsive and need to be in tune with what's going on here. In case there are comments that do come from fans, we need that person to be able to engage and respond and have a very quick dotted line or solid line to our Oakland Raiders public affairs manager to make sure, again, the message is communicated correctly. And then our Oakland Raiders Stadium Operations Manager also needs to be involved. This individual is going to be working closely with AEG, the facility managers or property managers, understanding and informing them of the complaints that we had actually received from our fans, what needed to be fixed. It's that dialogue, internal dialogue between those individuals, our employee and AEG, that it was really where the breakdown in communication took place and not getting the repairs done. So that individual needs to be involved in this response team as well, and also to be able to inform all the other individuals who are handling the external communications about any other potential repairs that may need to be made or adjustments that maybe weren't made and are going to be made in the future. The target audience is going to be Oakland and Alameda County residents. They're the ones, obviously, who are most affected by this as the likely attendees to Oakland Raiders games at the Oakland County Coliseum. The Oakland City Council, who is the group that actually votes on and will be voting on legislation that will determine whether or not a new stadium would be built in Oakland and whether we'd be able to get public funding for that stadium through specific measures. The Alameda Board of Supervisors, this is the County Board of Supervisors, they also have to approve any stadium that's being built in county land as well as the City of Oakland. And then we also want to target the local Oakland TV, news, and sports radio stations. Those are the individuals that we'd be communicating through press releases, direct communications, even press conferences, because they're going to carry this information for us to the public and get a greater reach. So the overall response. Press releases covering the details of the accident are going to be the main focus for us. We're going to inform the Oakland Raiders fan that the stadium is safe and that this accident was an isolated incident. And this is all part of presenting all of the information and expressing the impact on the customers as well. So that the accident occurred while trying to take additional measures to protect fans that attend games at the Oakland County Coliseum in the future. And despite the accident, the Raiders and AEG intend to complete the repairs as soon as possible. Again, with the response, we know that we want to be honest and that we want to, again, express the impact on the customers and that we want to present all the information and we want to be the one presenting that information. We don't want that information to be carried by other individuals. And we want to respond quickly as well, too, with a commitment to resolve. So the repairs and the accidents, we want the community to know that have no bearings on the Raiders' desire for a new stadium. We're not trying to leverage this per se, even though there is a correlation. It's not the driving factor. We don't want the community to sit there and feel that at the expense of this worker and this individual who was injured and these repairs that should have taken place that didn't, that's why, and that it didn't take place or it wouldn't have happened if we had a new stadium. We don't want that message out there in the public. We want to communicate that our thoughts and prayers are with the gentleman and his families, the individual who was injured, the worker. And we want to make certain that we get this response out in a timely manner within 12 hours of the accident, again, through social media, digital content, as well as press releases. PR tools and communication channels that will be used for this. Again, we'll use press releases from the following: the Oakland Raiders, that will also include a statement from owner Mark Davis, an AEG spokesperson who will be representing AEG as, again, the facility manager. The Oakland Alameda County Sheriff, again, which is something that is out of our control, but due to the fact that this was an injury and it has made it to the public's attention, uh, they are responsible for providing their own spokesperson and announcement. Uh, and our overall press release, is going to be published on our Raiders website as well, too, so anyone can actually read it there. Other PR tools and communication channels will be our Oakland Raiders digital and social media manager, leveraging on Facebook and Twitter. As we mentioned, going to be highly involved in the response team, and digital, social media, Facebook and Twitter is going to really help us convey the story and convey the message of what's taking place and what has transpired. Our Oakland Raiders spokesperson, who is going to be our public affairs manager. And then we're also going to enlist Derek Carr, who is the star quarterback and somewhat the face of the actual Oakland Raiders football team, to actually put a message out for the team as well on behalf of the team, wishing the individual worker a safe and speedy recovery. Moving into recovery, uh, this is where we want to sit there and maintain control of the crisis, making sure that communication and is coming from us, and that we're able to manage the communication and the flow of that communication. So we want continual updates of Oakland County Coliseum repairs, all that have been recommended, all that have been completed, and all that are planned and approved, and the timelines for those repairs. We want to have clear transparency when we're telling our story. We want to update through our public affairs and community relations departments on the workers' recovery. Again, we feel this is good in identifying our key public and our key audience, letting them know that we care about the community and the individual worker who is a part of that community, and updating everyone as to how that individual is doing. And then through social media, we want to make sure again that we're discussing our long-term resolution plan and the recovery, and that is reaffirming the Oakland Raiders' commitment to a fun and safe environment at Oakland County Coliseum. That hopefully was addressed and made aware to the community through the actual repairs and the transparency that we're having with all repairs that are going to be made. But we do want to continue to address the need for a new stadium. But as we mentioned, we don't want to leverage this as to sit there and say, hey, if we had a new stadium, this wouldn't happen. But we want the public, as smart individuals, to be able to come to the conclusions that on their own, that if we weren't making repairs to the stadium, if we did have a new stadium, that it would be a safe, fun environment, and possibly this incident never would have happened in the first place. And so that is my public relations crisis communications plan for the incident where a worker was injured at the Oakland County Coliseum.